so proud of this group. The resilience, the finish, the ability to really just go, really blow for blow with an amazing team. First and foremost, got to give the Rams a ton of credit and what they've been building and what they did and what they brought out in us. And that's what we needed. We needed that kind of challenge so that our guys could rise to the occasion, make plays, have a more balanced attack, and be able to play the type of offensive football we know we're capable of. Defensively, the Rams put together some amazing drives, made some incredible plays, some incredible throws and catches. Got more than we wanted in the run game as well. The Rams did, and so a lot of stuff to clean up from that aspect. The big return early on, just some adversity that our guys had to face today, but the ability to just continue to battle. And I got to say, just Bank of America Stadium, the fans showed up in the weather. It was wet. They were loud, and it was noticeable. The third downs, especially at the end, we can't take those things for granted, and the edge that it gives us on our rushes. Even the last rush that we got, the sack fumble. They're up against the clock. There was a delay of game, and that just gives us a little bit of an edge. To get off the ball, to attack it, and come away with the win.
Coming off of a short week, you guys are missing some really key players on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
The way the Rams have been playing, not many people outside this building were giving you guys a chance. Can you just talk about the message in the locker room, not only from you, but from the leaders on this team?
Yeah, really the challenge was for the guys, and Saturday night just saying, we have seen the Rams' best football, and they've been playing amazing. And I said, no one's seen our best yet. And while they still made yards and they still did things, our best football is still out there in front of us, and that's our goal, is to find it. But our guys came together offensively, and really executed today. And starting with the run game, offensive line, just calling those guys out, just Icky and D-Lou and Corbs having an excellent day. Jake Curhan stepping in when we needed him to. And, Taylor Moton had to come out for a little bit, and Yosh had a series in there, but he was able to come back and finish. But we can't do it without those guys, because we were able to run the ball like we like to, and put us into some favorable third down and fourth down situations where we could be aggressive, knowing that we had shorter sticks to go against. But it all starts up front, and then Bryce just executing on third down and finding us some wins in some critical downs was huge.
Speaking about those fourth downs, you had two that resulted in touchdowns. What did you see on those plays?
Just matchups and Jalen Coker. Jalen Coker providing that first touchdown, knowing that we like the matchup outside. And he's a guy that's been playing great ball, and we just haven't been able to really just, make him come alive. It was still, 4 catches, so we still like to see him come away with a few more. But that one, and then just being able to run the ball and showing play action for T-Mac's touchdown allowed us to get the one-on-ones, get the box the way we wanted it to, which is the design and the philosophy of what we do. And but it was some of those third down runs that got us into those favorable situations that allowed us to be aggressive.
That question about bouncing back. Your team hasn't lost back-to-back games since the first 2 games of the year. Where does this resilience come from for your group?
It's humility. It's playing games where we're humbled by not having great execution and knowing that we have to get back to our basics, our fundamentals in execution. And this is a humble group. It's the leadership of our team. It's Derek Brown and it's Bryce, and these guys taking one game and saying we can do better than this, and rising to the challenge, making sure that we're being intentional with what we're doing every single day, and how critical it is to execute on game day.
They've had a great run with Rico. Chuba obviously tried to play through injury not that long ago.
Yeah.
He looks like he's physically back
Absolutely.
right now. I know you've been trying to run 2 backs for a while, but injuries have gotten in the way. What does that allow you to do, and did you get to kind of fully realize that out there?
Yeah, it's just fresh. It's fresh legs when they go out there. And, for Rico, it was a huge check down on the last drive. We didn't come away with points on the drive, but putting the ball out there in his hands, whether it's a run or a pass, just get the ball into Rico and Chuba's hands and let them affect the game because of who they are, because of the aggressive style that they play with. And so it's a dream to be able to have 2 guys that you can count on, and I can call anything that I have on the call sheet and trust that it's going to get executed.
On the 2 fourth down plays, the touchdowns, what gives you the confidence? What gave you the confidence in Bryce today to put in his hands?
I always feel confident with Bryce in those situations, and the bigger the stakes, the higher the moments. He stays the same in terms of his execution, and it allows me to just call the best thing for that area. But again, it's the balance of the run game, and being able to give us those type of opportunities.
Building off the fourth down theme, I believe the Panthers lead the league in fourth down attempts going forward. I'm sure a lot of that is circumstantial, but is there an overall principle that you believe, hey, it's fourth down, we're going to go for it?
Well, who you're playing matters. And certainly with the Rams and the high-powered offense that they have, it makes me a little bit more aggressive. And, Coach George Lee and I have these conversations during the week talking about our strategy and who we're playing and if it would be good. What's it looking like on the other side? Like, let's try to steal a series here if we can, and we came out with touchdowns. First downs I would have been, thrilled with. But to come away with touchdowns is fantastic, to really capitalize on some of those single high one-on-one matchups. And that's what we've been hoping our guys do is to be able to come away with those opportunities. It's single high. They're man-to-man. Somebody's got to win, and the guys found great wins for us today.
Did you ever see any difference in Bryce when a game went the way last week's game went? Do you see any difference in him personality-wise through the week?
I do not. No, I see the same type of intentionality. We had great conversations early in the week, and he's like, I'm going through my process, and we have our checkpoints, after Wednesday for the base game plan, Thursdays with the third down, Fridays, and then we wrap up on Saturdays. Kind of, this is how we're going to win this game, and we have those conversations, and he's executed it, and he continues to lead out there, which I'm really proud of him for.
You mentioned Derek Brown's leadership and helping you get to this point. He had the deflection on the first interception, the strip sack there. Just what have you seen from not just today, but throughout the time you've been here that led to you guys get this kind of moment?
There's a resilience and depth of character with Derek where he's not concerned with what's happening on the other side of the ball. And when the offense might be struggling for a series or two, you're going to get the same Derek Brown regardless. Whatever the score is, we're up, we're down, you're going to get the same Derek Brown, and that's what I love to point to for the whole group. It's like, guys, let's just continue to do our job well. Let's continue to empty the tank every time you're out there on the field, whether it's in practice or the games, and that's what continues to show up for Derek.
I think today was the 10th different starting offensive line combination you've used today, and it just never seems like those guys are a liability. Nothing's perfect necessarily, but what is it about the way you're coaching them, that Joe Gilbert's preparing these guys, that you're running all these different combinations out there and they're still largely getting the job done?
It's just work ethic. It's Goody and Joe. It's the way that they structure the meetings. They're always talking. When you go out there on the field, whether it's a defensive period, you're going to see the offensive line on the side working on something. They're going to be working on a what-if front, a what-if pressure with our protection plan. It's during special teams. They're just constantly working, constantly talking. It's that type of, camaraderie and communication that it requires to play really good football.
Prior to that strip sack, you all only had one hit on Stafford. It looked like you all played that pretty straight, that third down where Derek got in there. What did you see, and what was the concept there?
Yeah, again, I got to talk about our fan base and the noise, the crowd noise. It matters, and it allows us to just get a jump because we're locked in on the ball. They basically are going off a movement as well, and it just gives us an advantage. And it just felt like we got a jump on that rush, and they protected really well for most of the game. And some of those big shots they had down the field were far beyond the 2.5, 3 seconds that I'm preaching for the offensive side. Stafford was able to kind of evaluate whenever you give him a chance like that, he'll find a completion somewhere. And but they stayed with it, and our mentality is finish. And every single opportunity we get, we're going to get you're going to get everything we have.
Did you see that going into the game? Did you see Hubbard being used as much as you used him, because he hasn't been used nearly that much in a while? So.
Well, absolutely. It's just the way that the game played out. We had more attempts, we had more opportunities, and then it really came down to some third down, some third down conversions, and then also some third down runs. And Chuba's been our primary third down back right now with the protections, but we also run the ball some, and that's a great opportunity to just make sure he gets his touches.
We'll do last question.
How much satisfaction do you get out of the fact you have the saying it's all about the ball, no turnovers, and the preparation for how much wet ball, cold weather? How do you simulate that?
It all starts with the ball, and it's about how we approach it during the week. It's about the habits. We're constantly, our coaching staff, they're constantly on the defensive side talking about the number of attempts that we get at the ball, and offensively, we have to make sure that we're wrapping it up in traffic, and the guys were great about that today.
Your reaction on Mike Jackson getting into the end zone?
Oh, it's unbelievable. And first career pick six for Mike, which was really kind of, I was a little bit shocked, but again, I look back and I was with him for a long time in Seattle, and he had some interceptions. I could never remember him running one back. And but just a great payoff. The fundamentals were right. His feet were in the ground. He broke on the ball perfectly and then came away with the score. It was awesome.
Speak to the job Granson and Smith-Wade did stepping into the starting lineup?
Up and down. I thought Shaw Smith-Wade did a really solid job today. whether it was in base or nickel. Lathan was working through some things. There's going to be some stuff to clean up, but he played physical, and that's what we count on from him. He showed up. He showed up making hits in the run game, in the pass game, had a nice sack. So he's a dynamic player. He brings a lot to us, and the challenge for him is to just continue to be connected with the back half. He and Nick Scott, having that communication, and I've just kind of ribbed Nick afterwards. It was like, come on, you got to get your guy going. There was a couple of things that we could have covered down better with in terms of who was where, but generally showed up and made his plays.
You've been asked this, but Bryce, I think it's 11 now, fourth quarter overtime, game-winning drives. That kind of thing. What has he been able to do, and what are you seeing from him in those situations?
It's the consistency of play, and the thing that I appreciate the most about Bryce is, regardless of the moment, regardless of the time in the game or the score, when I put the ball in his hands, he stays the same. He stays even. His eyes are in the right place, and then he executes the play and finds his best available receiver. And that's the part that I love just being able to count on with Bryce. All right, thank you.